you, Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. Is there a little bell on Rumble? I don't know. I have noticed ever since I've been exiled from my YouTube channel for another 5 days or so. 5, 6 days. Next week, I think Saturday night. Saturday night is when they let me back in for who knows how long, right? But I've been doing quite well on Rumble. My subscribers went way up there. I'm actually going to be live streaming on Rumble tonight. First time I've done that. I don't know if it's going to work. Well, I guess we'll find out. Like, share, subscribe. That's really, really helpful. As I said, that's very, very helpful. Thank you very much. Comment. Let me know what you think. Sign up to my Substack, which is my email newsletter, because that's really the best way of staying in contact with me, as long as I remember to send it out, which I have been better at, okay, over the last couple of days. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. If you want to sign up my paid Substack, oh boy, that is so good. Okay, it's so good. I am not going to stop it, and there is content coming out on there in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm actually getting my head above water now, can start to breathe. I've noticed, because I've been offline, that I'm not doing quite as much content because there's literally, I'm screaming into the wind, right? So I'm not doing quite as much content, which gives me a little bit more time free to focus on other things, which is very nice. As I said, but if you can share this video, that really, really, actually, I'd like more people to see these, but it really, really helps. We are in the 6 constant commandments, the 6 constant mitzvahs, a 49-day, I know it says 50 on the thumbnail, it just kind of, it rounded up better. A 49-day program to supercharge one's connection to the good Lord. I'm working from this book, The 6 Constant Mitzvahs. It was written based on lectures by Rabbi Yitzhak Verkutz, who I know, by Rabbi Yehuda Heinwitz, who I don't know, in collaboration with Shai Markowitz, who I do know. There you go. So I know a lot of people, a lot of people with this thing. It's a very good thing to do, and I think there's a lot of overlay, right? I think there's a lot of overlay between just peoples of faith. And, it's interesting. There's a interesting prophecy, right? From, where was it? When, so hard translating the names from Hebrew to English. Isaac, right? When Isaac is returning to Israel, right? And he's met by his brother Esau. Esau, mad as hell at him, right? Esau is mad as hell at him. He thinks decades earlier he stole his blessing from his father, Isaac. Did he? Didn't he? Well, that's a whole other question, right? It's a whole other story. Kind of, yeah. In my opinion, kind of, yeah. And that's kind of a good thing. But, so he's really, really mad. Jacob's coming to Israel, and they say, Esau's coming with 400 men, which I assume sounds like it's pretty big, right? So it sounds like it's going to be a big, big ruck. And then that's actually one of my favorite bits in the Bible, where Isaac has this. Jacob. See, that's how hard it is. Where Jacob has this vision of and he wrestles with an angel, and dislocates his hip, sort of thing, which means practical upshot. That's why Jews aren't allowed to have a filet mignon, which annoys the crap out of me. What can I tell you? Because the sciatic nerve is not kosher because of that story. Anyway, so eventually they meet Esau, and it all kicks off, right? They meet Esau, but it doesn't kick off. Esau's like, "I'm happy to see you." See, what happened was when Jacob left, he was like, this very saintly, naive seminary student, right? Very, very holy, saintly, naive seminary student. And he just kind of got up the nose of Esau. Esau was a hunter, a businessman. So now, decades later, they comes back, and he looks at Jacob, and he sees a man with a husband, with wives and families and responsibilities and all these cattle and business, and he sees somebody like a reflection of him, right? And he says, "Come, let's walk together, right? Let's walk together." And Jacob says, "Look, all this stuff slows me down. You know how to deal with it. I can't. All this stuff slows me down. I'll catch up with you. You go ahead. I'll catch up with you." So that in our tradition is a prophecy for the end of days, that eventually the nations of Esau and the nations of Jacob will walk together. So the nations of Jacob are basically the Jews, right? That's basically who it ended up as. And the nations of Esau, It's a bit of a disputed call. There's several nations came from Azov. There's like the good of Azov and the bad of Azov. The bad of Azov, those naughty National Socialists from Germany in the 1930s, right? That's the bad of Azov. The good of Azov, though, is I would say America, right? America. I think Germany and America were two like dark mirrors of of each other. I think that American spirit, that American well, not know-how, that American indomitable spirit of I can do, right? Yes, we can, right? Which I like a lot. So it says in the end of the days, we're going to walk together. So I just see that prophecy kind of being fulfilled by the Trumpster, who I really genuinely believe is the Messiah of the nation of Edom, which is a weird thing to say, right? He's a bit of a scuzzy guy. I like him a lot. Don't get me wrong. I like him. He's a bit of a scuzzy guy. Like, when they say he's having sex with porn stars, I'm not like, no, that cannot be, right? That cannot be. No, that's not going. I'm like, yeah, okay, probably. That's the sort of person that he sounds like. But essentially, that's who I think Azov is, I think during the Trump presidency, we really did see an incredible bond between Israel and America. The moving of the embassy, the freeing of this guy called Rubashkin, who was jailed as a piece of pure anti-Semitism. Can talk about that another time. But I think we're living in those end of days where all peoples of faith are walking together, right? Essentially, look, we're all backed into a corner by these crazies who go like, look at my pee-pee, I'm a girl. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Yeah, so we're all in the same boat. So that's why I'm enjoying doing this series. The Satan, the Satan, as the Christians call him, are not fans, right? Are not fans. This video is frozen a couple of times. My computer is on its freaking knees. So I went to order a new one yesterday, right? And it just had a bunch of roadblocks, right? So eventually I said to my wife, we're not ordering a new computer, right? We're not, because, I've had, this isn't the week I've had since this Sphera, this period between Passover and Shavuot of like very, very powerful spiritual growth, is like, I've had a lot of knockbacks, right? And I think that's just what God wants right now, right? God wants, now, why am I being knocked back a lot of the time? I don't know. But I have faith, which is what we're going to talk about. I have faith that it's ultimately going to be for the good. And when I was kind of like at peace with that idea, right? Which I had a meltdown. But when I finally got to peace with that idea, the clouds started parting. I don't know. I do have a feeling though this period, this 49-day period that we're doing, the study program in. I've seen it for other people. It's being intense this year. It's being intense, and I just think. Essentially, okay, I'm going off on another tangent. This is quite interesting. In Jewish philosophy, the way time works, the way the year works, is like this. We have the Jewish New Year, which is like September time, and that's when your year is created in concept, right? In your mind, through your prayer, for your decisions, for your your resolutions. We are big into New Year's resolution. That creates the year, and then you have a 6-month pregnancy where that year is gestates and is eventually born, which is on Passover. Then the next 50 days is like you take the piece of art and you put it in a kiln and you fire it, right? So that's all God really just turns up the heat. And boy, it's been turned up a lot for me this year, which I think is good news, right? I think it's good news, guys. I think this is the period where we are climbing towards the gateways of a messianic age, right? I really genuinely believe it, and I hope it anyway. But I do believe it as well. I do believe it could well happen very, very, very soon. Again, just looking at the intensity of this period, not just for me. I've seen other people have this, like, a lot of people I know, lives are genuinely on fire, right? I think I'm the only one who's connecting it to this Omer thing, but well, I'm not the only one. I'm the only one I know connecting it to this Omer thing. But I think strange times are coming, which I think is why the Satan is so opposed, so intently opposed to me doing this. I also think there's an element of God like toughening me up a bit, right? I think before Passover, I reached a point where I said I really can't deal with anymore, right? I had a lot of like kind of major hits over the last few years, and the last one I got mentally ill, and I didn't realize it because I was mentally ill, right? And I was just at the point where I said I just can't deal with anything anymore. Like a couple of weeks ago, the dog got out, and this was like I just lost it, right? I couldn't, eventually we got him back. But had got her back, but I just completely lost it, and I was saying when my computer died, right, and then when I wasn't really that like that when my YouTube channel got taken down for the week, but like a lot of these big hits, and now I'm kind of got used to it, right? I kind of got used to it, and I feel like you know what, I could take a bit more. I don't want to. I do not want to, but I don't feel like I can't take anymore, which is, I think, why we have struggles, which is why we have hardships. Also, it's to stop us connecting to God, which is what we're going to be doing now. Okay, so yesterday we talked about how we're talking about the commandment to have faith in God, right? So that's the first of the 10 commandments. Ani Hashem, I am God who brought you out of Egypt. So the best practical way of achieving that of achieving that commandment, not the best way, a very good practical way of achieving that commandment is waiting with bated breath and excitement for the messianic age, right? Because that is the culmination of God's plan for everything, for this world, for this reality. And because so when you wait for that with bated breath, firstly you say, I am on board with God's plan. I am 120% on board with God's plan. I don't know why I came up with that number, but I am 100% on board with God's plan. And I'm good. I am with it no matter what, right? And that really is a great expression of faith. So anyway, so then today's chapter, we are on page 71. If you're reading along at home, I would throw the text up. It used to be online. I don't know why they took it off, but never mind. I'll probably find it the day after I finish. Purpose in our lives is the headline. Is the not the headline, the title, right? The subject line. A faith-filled outlook on life is not only essential for understanding history. Yes. It's very much easier to view it in the prism of history. But current affairs, I look at current affairs with like this intense faith, right? Is not only essential for understanding history, it also enables you to understand events that occur in our own lives. Okay, we're all agreeing. Good. Once you realize that the purpose of the world and the purpose and your purpose as a player in it is to attain perfection, you begin to notice God's hand in your life. I told you, I think yesterday or the day before, a great little exercise. Imagine everybody around you has got strings coming from their arms, and they're like puppets that God is controlling. Then you see God talk to you. It's all about the way you perceive reality. Purpose of it is to attain perfection. You begin to notice God's hand in life. You begin to view troublesome events and challenges that will help you grow. I just spent 10 minutes talking about that, haven't I? You no longer take the good for granted. Oh God, I would love a bit of good. Okay, I love a bit of, that's not taken for granted. You realize that God is giving you tools with which to advance. You cease to view events in your life as random occurrences. This sounds kind of like, sort of obvious to me. Every event, major and minor, begins to fit into a general purpose of the world. Faith becomes a part of your life, filling every second of every day, and it begins to be reflected in your actions. Yes, I would say that's true. One book of what do you call this in Christianity? I think writings. You have Tanakh, which is the Torah, which is the Old Testament. Nevi'im, the prophets, and Kesuvim, writing. So it could be one of the prophets. So one book in that is devoted entirely to teaching the view of the world in this perspective. It is the Book of Esther. Freaking love the Book of Esther. So we entertain possibilities that they argue if the Book of Esther is part of writings. The Book of Esther does not contain is part of the prophets. It doesn't contain any overt prophecy. We do not read any communication between God and the styles of it, Mordecai or Esther, God and humanity, and it does not record a single event that we would class as a miracle. Really? I don't know. I mean, everything happens very, very naturalistically, which is what I think is going on right now, right? I think we live in a very naturalistic world. And was it yesterday I said this? I can't remember, the day before. If you imagine what it was like living through the 10 plagues, I think this is similar, right? I really think this is similar. It is, however, clear that the Book of Esther is not merely an account of events that occurred in Media and Persia over two millennia ago. The penultimate verse of the book reads, all of Ahasuerus, he was the king of Persia in the book, who I think was a previous version of Donald Trump as well. Not a good guy in the book, right? But I figure over several lifetimes, you kind of get better, right? All of Ahasuerus' mighty and powerful acts, and the account of greatness of Mordecai, again the star of it, whom the king promoted. I mean, he also wrote it, so it's entirely shocking he's a star. Are recorded in the Book of Chronicles of Media and Persia. Why must we resort to secular sources for the rest of the story? I guess it's like saying, you write the book of the end of days, right? And then you say, and then go and check out Fox News, foxnews.com, and give you a link for here's some more, right? You would have thought the Holy Book would be enough. Why doesn't the book of Esther relate what became of Ahasuerus and what Mordecai accomplished? Rabbi Ezekiel Abramsky considers this verse to be one of the most pertinent verses in the Book of Esther. It delineates what this book is about. The objective of the Book of Esther is not to teach history. There are enough books in the archives of Media and Persia that do that. The Book of Esther was written to teach us to notice divine providence. Yes, right? 100% yes, because God is not seen there, but he's very, very seen. He's very, very seen. It strings together a series of seemingly unrelated events that occur over a period of 9 years. Only when the sequence of events are recorded in this Book of Esther do we realize that God's prepared the cure of the malady. Wow, now they're getting to like details of the story. If you don't know, fine. So Ahasuerus, who was like a revolutionary, he won a revolution against the king. I think Nebuchadnezzar. He kept the only person of the royal family kept alive was his daughter Vashti, who he then married, right? So then he had this big celebration when the Jews were in exile in Persia, and they predicted to go back in like 70 years, and it didn't happen. And Ahasuerus got very excited. I guess it's over, right? And he had this big party. And he invited the entire nation, and it was very Trumpian as well. He had lots of gold plates. It was the highest level of everything. It was huge. I can imagine it being like that, right? And everything was super kosher. If you wanted to get any type of food you wanted, and Mordecai didn't go. Mordecai said, "This is bad news. You shouldn't go to this." And all the other Jews said, "What's wrong with you, schmuck? Yeah, of course we're gonna go." It didn't work out so well. Anyway. Vashti rebelled against Ahasuerus. So during the party, Ahasuerus said, "Oh, my wife is so hot. Let me show you." And she was going to come in and do the dance of the seven veils without the seven veils, and she probably not that much dancing either, right? I mean, really, I would. Did they have a poll? I don't know. I wasn't there. And it was supposed paving the way for Esther to become queen. Not a fun story, that. And for Mordecai to save the king's life, thus placing them in position to save the Jewish people, even before Haman, who was a precursor of the leader of the naughty National Socialists from Germany in the 1930s, before became it was even ruminating in his head. Had these events not been listed together in the Book of Esther, we would probably not have noticed a relationship between them. Yes, if God is infinite, if God is everywhere, if God is constant, right, then everything is connected to God. There's no random occurrence. The Book of Esther is not about history; it's about destiny. It's a part of the what do you guys call it? The I think prophets. I think prophets. But no, is there not a group word for Bible for Old Testament prophets and writings? I'm sure there is. I'm sure. Again, I think I'm streaming with Father Miller tomorrow. I will ask him, see if he knows. Teaches us to examine our lives and see how each event fits into God's plan for our personal advancement. Think about the grand events of your own life, the person you married and the person you didn't marry, the job you accepted and the one you wanted but did not get. Well, I have a lot more in the latter category. The teachers who influenced you, you may start to notice a pattern. Scarily I do, okay? Scarily I do. And it's a reasonably scary pattern. Sometimes the grand events are not enough. You have to focus on the minutiae in life. People you meet seemingly by chance who affected you in some way. A train you missed that caused you to see an advertisement on the next train that helped you grow. A ride to look was it a ride you took with a friend during which you overheard a conversation that bore an important message of your life. So, such introspection can boost your faith 100%. You should. This is something you really should be doing, right? As you begin to make sense of your life and the path that that has been paved for you, it might be painful sometimes. There might be questions. There may be events that you simply cannot understand. Well, that's a lot of them. Okay, that's in the bigger category. You simply cannot understand. Where I lost my place. Don't forget, you are in the middle of the story. Oh man, I'm looking forward to see what the end of the story is. What I think we're coming up to a chapter heading soon. If we were to stop reading the Book of Esther in the middle, we wouldn't be able to make sense of it. We wouldn't be able to extrapolate the meaning and view it as a guide for our own lives. We have and faith and have faith that once we move on to the next world, all our questions will be answered. Fine. So then we got a little story. Let's see what this little story is. Okay. Where are we going up to? Do I read this little story? You go up to page. Oh, yeah, we do. On Sunday, October 9th, 1994, Nachshon Wachsman, an Israeli soldier returning home from Jerusalem from his training course in the north, was kidnapped by Hamas terrorists. 2 days later, Hamas gave an ultimatum. If they would not release Hamas leaders and terrorists serving jail sentences, Nachshon will be executed at 8 p.m. on Friday night. The state of Israel was... I don't remember this at all. I was in Israel at the time. Was I? Let me think. No. Oh, maybe I was. No, I was in Israel at the time. The state of Israel was mobilized in one of the greatest displays of unity since the state was founded. To quote Esther Wachman, I do remember this now. Yeah, this was a big deal. Esther Waxman, Nakshan's mother, I asked women throughout the world. Oh yeah, this was a huge deal, right? This was a really huge deal. I asked women throughout the world to light an extra candle on Sabbath for my son, and she got about 30,000 letters. Poured poured it into her home, and she learned 1,000 women did it. Yeah, yeah, and I remember we a lot of people bought in Sabbath early. There was everybody was on board with doing something, right? So she got letters from women who had never lit Sabbath candles before. Actually, interestingly, you've always got to ask yourself, why did Hashem, God, I use the Jewish word Hashem, why did God put you here and now, right? What was it for? One time my wife was, who was it? We had a relative who was in hospital, and normally one stays with your relatives when they're in hospital. Do you do it in Israel? I think you do it in America as well. But in Israel, they make provisions for Sabbath, right? And there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do for Sabbath. So one time, my wife and I would, I think my father was dying, so we stayed in hospital with him over it was Friday night, and my wife went to light candles, and there was I think 2 or 3 women who said, "Listen, I've never lit candles before. Can you show me how to do it?" It's really easy. You just need a candle and a match. That's kind of it. Yeah, but my wife showed them. She showed them blessing, and that's. You don't know the complete reason why everything happens, but you can. It's wonderful when you see little things fit into place. So on Thursday night, 24 hours before the ultimatum, a prayer vigil was held at the Western Wall. I sort of remember it. This doesn't work out well. Okay, don't get your hopes up for a great story. At the same hour, the prayer vigil was held around the world in synagogues, communities, and centers and public squares throughout the world. People of good faith everywhere hoped and pleaded for and prayed for Nachshon. At the Western Wall, 100,000 people gathered. That's not easy. There's not that much room. With almost no notice. So you had like these ultra-Orthodox Hasidim in black coats and these long curls called peyot. And they were standing next time by boys wearing jeans with ponytails and earrings. It was total unity and total solidarity, religious and secular, left wing and right wing, Sephardi and Ashkenazi, 2 different sects of Judaism, old and young, rich and poor. The occurrence was unprecedented in a sadly fragmented society. Unfortunately, the salvation that everybody expected did not come. Yeah, it was crushing, right? Israeli intelligence learned where Nachshon was held. An elite rescue team, man, I wouldn't want to be on that team, raided their house, but Nachshon was killed alongside Nir Poretz, the captain of the rescue unit. Oh man, yeah, this was terrible. Many people were left questioning. And many people were left with questioning, but so this is the incredible part. We're getting to it. Many people were left with questions, but Mr. and Mrs. Waxman were not. Mrs. Waxman actually became a very big public speaker. Mr. Waxman were not. Well, Mr. Waxman asked Nachshon's rabbi, Rabbi Mordechai Alon, to include in his unity that a father would like to say yes to his children all the time, but there are times when he must say no. World jury had begged God for a return of this young man, but for reasons unknown to us, God did not. God said no, right? Will viewing the world with faith explain every detail of our lives? No, it will lead you with much, much deeper questions, right? That is true. It will lead you with confusion questions. Something that's always struck me, right, is I used to work as a assistant tour guide at Yad Vashem, the Israeli Holocaust museum, monument museum, and there's this one picture that always kind of amazed me of this French Jew getting off the trains at one of those camps that you have to concentrate very, very hard in, and you saw his bewilderment, like how. It's like how I don't understand how, and that you get that a lot, right? I think. With the 2020 election, I think a lot of people's of faith went how? Like, how? Right, I think we see how now, right? I think we see, I don't think we would ever see a destruction of this insane ideology that we're seeing today. Destruction while they have complete power. It's very simple. Like, I don't think we would have seen that without that victory. But oftentimes you're left with the question, how? How is this at all possible? Will viewing the world with the moon explain it? No. But it will likely help notice the pattern. We begin to see for ourselves being drawn closer to perfection, just as the world took a step closer during the perfection during Nachshon Wachsman's captivity. And even if we cannot make sense of the outcome, we can accept the fact that God is bringing us closer and closer to Him, regardless of what the hardships are. Right? Something to rely upon. Life can be frightening without faith. I don't know how people do it, right? I don't know how people go through life without faith. It seems like an absolute miserable nightmare. The world is moving at a dizzying pace, and this was written like 10, 15 years ago. And technological advances bring us live reports of the world events that would not have been aware if we had lived 100 years ago. Faith allows us to understand some of these events, and more importantly, it gives us a sense of security that someone orchestrating each and every one of them has. Fine. So a man once came to a rabbi called the Chafetz Chaim to complain about his life. He might have been me. So he says, I earn a livelihood as a peddler trading from village to village. Sometimes I'm away from my home for a few days, sometimes for a few weeks. I travel through the bitter cold of winter. Dude, move somewhere warmer. Okay, travel through the bitter cold of winter and under the blazing heat of the sun. Again, go to California. That's kind of temperate all year round, although don't go there now. Don't go there back in 100 years ago. Until recently, I was able to comfort myself in my travels because I knew that in a matter of days or weeks, I'll be able to go home, where my beloved wife will be waiting for me with some good, comfortable with a good, comfortable bed and radiant warmth of a Jewish home. Recently, however, my wife died. What's this guy's name? Lucky? All right. Recently, however, my wife died. Now, not only do I have to suffer from my conditions on the road, but I don't even have the comfort of knowing that I'll eventually be able to restore my strength. I have no home to return to. Man, that's a bit of a sad story. So the rabbi called the Chafetz Chaim extracted an important message from the man's tale of woe, that our journey through the world is at times filled with pain and difficulty. That is true. Without faith, one can become despondent during such times. Fortunate are those who realize this world is fleeting, and every measure of pain has a purpose, and that they will soon be able to return home and enjoy the warmth of the divine presence in the world to come. Yeah, okay. Okay, but again, you gotta have faith, baby. You gotta have faith. That's it's just a way of making your life easier. So how are we doing it? This was day 9. We finished this one on day 12. So we're rattling through these, right? Rattling through these. Keep working these steps. They're just great, okay? They are very, very good in developing your relationship with God, which I think is the bottom line, what God really wants. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin. What do I want? I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Please share this video. Please subscribe. Thank you very, very much. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow.